Good morning, dear students. We are studying the chapter healthy eating habits, and we have studied some of the habits, good habits that we have to maintain, and we are moving on to the next one. We are in page number 26 and fourth paragraph. Some people, particularly children, have the habit of eating all the time. They always have something or the other in their mouths. Some children eat several times a day. Normally, people take food in the morning, afternoon, evening, and at night. They take breakfast, lunch, evening, tea, or and dinner. Eating between meals may result in loss of appetite, indigestion, tiredness, and laziness. People forget that stomach is like a machine which needs rest like any other machine. Therefore, doctors advise us to eat at fixed times, which should not be more than 4 or 5 times, with sufficient gap after each meal. Taking food hour after hour will result in ill health. So there are some people, especially some children are there. They are always eating. Okay, you can see that in their mouth they keep something in there, and some parents are also teaching the children that you have to eat always. So you means for becoming healthy or becoming bigger, you have to eat always. So, but this method or this idea is wrong. Some people, particularly children, have the habit of eating all the time. They always have something or other in their mouths. Some children eat several times a day. Some people are there, they eat several times. So like morning they get up and they have a tea, and along with that they will have some snacks, and after some time they will have some another small breakfast. Then after that there is a big breakfast. Then around 11 o'clock they have some food. Then by noon they will have another food. Then afternoon also 1 or 2 times. So such a way they are eating many times. Okay. So but we have to understand that our stomach is like a machine. Okay, so it needs rest. So if we are doing some work, imagine that if we are doing some work, so what happens is that, see, like imagine that you are studying. So you are studying and you are studying for 1 hour, okay, or continuously like 2 or 3 hours. If you study, what happens? You will get tired, isn't it? So you need relaxation in between. So you have to study like studying also you have to do like that. So like a half an hour you study. Then after that you take a 5 minutes break, or you go and have some drink some water and come. Okay, or you just walk around once. Then after that you come and again you study for maybe another half an hour or maybe 1 hour. So half an hour or 1 hour, after that we have to take a little bit of amount of gap. So when we are eating the food also, we need, see, like if you eat something, what happens is that it will go into our stomach, and the stomach will produce, inside our stomach there are so many type of fluids are there. So it will generate some some kinds of liquids are there that it will be creating in our stomach. These liquids are working on the food, and it will process it. It will be, and also when we eat it, we have to chew nicely and eat. Otherwise, it needs a lot amount of energy for breaking down the food. So like if you are not eating, if you are not chewing, then the stomach needs a lot amount of energy, and that is why it is said that like if people, some people, they are taking like non-veg items and all when they are eating. So then we should not eat too much. Okay, so even if you are eating non-veg and all, there is no problem, but should not eat too much. Okay, what happens is that when these things are coming, so our stomach is not made in such a way that we can digest a huge amount of these type of items. Okay, so what happens is that it will create digestive problems. Okay, so we need like time is required for like once if you are eating breakfast, at least 2 hours required for getting these things digested. Okay, so before that, if you imagine that like you are doing some work and you are like it will take it some 2 hours time to complete, and before completing, see, imagine that, see, like if subject teachers are there, see, like one teacher is coming and teaching like English. I am coming and teaching English, and I gave you a homework, and you need 1 hour time for completing this homework. And next teacher came before you complete the homework, again the Hindi teacher came and she also gave a homework. And after that, mathematics teacher came and he also is giving homework. So you feel very much tired, isn't it? So what happens is that you need time for completing this work. All the day, all the teachers are giving so many homeworks, and you need plenty of time for doing this one. So the same way the stomach is also. One work is given. So you are eating, it means that you are giving one work to the stomach. So it means the stomach needs to digest these things, and after that it has to be absorbed by our into the blood cells. So that is a very big job that the stomach has to do. So it needs time. Okay, so 1 hour, 2 hour, 3 hours time required for doing this one. So the stomach requires, so like the part of the work is done by the stomach, then after that it will transfer into the intestine. So through the small intestine, when it is transferring, this food made it into like a pulp like. Okay, so it is some of liquids are generated, and with the help of that, some acids are there, some type of things are there. So those kinds of things are mixed up with the food, and it will make it into like a juice type. Okay, whatever may be the food that we are eating. So when we are eating from our stomach, from our mouth itself, we will chew it. So when you chew it, then our saliva is there. So that is also an enzyme. It is also kind of an acid. It will help the food to break down. So when it is mixed up nicely and when you swallow it, then what happens? The work of the stomach will become easier, because there are no, first of all, there is no much big particles are not there, and it is properly mixed up with the saliva, so there will not be any kind of issues. Okay, so it will go down, and the work of the stomach will be very much less, and it will move to the intestine, and from the intestine this the required particles like energy. So energy is stored in the food. So we are eating food for the purpose of getting energy. So the in the small intestine can absorb the energy or particles which is required for our body, and that will be absorbed, and it will be transferred to the blood cells, and it will be transferred to entire part of our body. And from there, from the food, the energy is removed and the waste is rejected, and this waste will come back to the places like, especially like to the large intestine, and it will be deposited there. So such a way, this is a very long procedure. Okay, so it needs time, and it needs a lot amount of work is required. Simply we cannot say that simply you are eating and it will go like that. It is not like that. So it needs lot amount of time, and it is the very long procedures are there inside. So we need to give break. So some gap has to be given, so that by the time the stomach will complete the job, and it will transfer it to the intestine, and it will take a little bit rest. Then by the time the next food will come. Okay, so it will be making ready for the stomach, like it will be getting filled up with the other enzymes and other type of acids and liquids required will be filled up in our stomach. And in between that, we need to drink water. Okay, so sufficient amount of water is also required. If water is not there, like imagine that if you are mixie you are using, so in that if you are putting something, and if you grind it, or if you don't pour sufficient amount of water, the mixie will not rotate, isn't it? So the same process is there in our stomach also, that if you don't drink a sufficient amount of water, then the stomach will not be able to digest these things. Okay, so this is a big problem. So we have to take a sufficient amount of gap between the food. Okay.